Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about some of the fears that I had when I first started, or before I even said yes to starting my own Arbonne business. I know that fears can really stop us from doing a lot of things, and you might relate to some of the ones that I had. So, first of all, I was like, can I even? Can I even do this? Do I know what I'm doing? I was a big lover of product anyway. I was buying so much crap that wasn't working for me. I was wasting money. Could I actually talk about product? Could I actually talk about the business? Would anyone believe me? All of those things about can I even do any of it, right? But that fear was so fleeting because my desire for more that year, when I first started, was 2014. My desire for more that year was so much bigger than any of those fears, right? So that was a very fleeting thought. I was like, can I? I don't know. I don't. I'm just going to give it a go, right? And I know that I'm, a pretty welcoming person, a pretty friendly person, a pretty, happy-go-lucky type of person. I knew that I had friends. I knew that if I have friends in real life, then I must be able to do something right? And I didn't think of like going down that path of I'm going to harass my friends. That wasn't something I even considered, and even to this day, I think once or twice at Christmas, I've sent a group message to everyone and said, "Guys, you want a discount?" Like they know what I'm doing now after 3 years, so it's it's there if they want it. And it was never something that I thought my friends are the first people that I'm going to hit up, right? It was, can I do it? Yeah, okay, I'm going to try. And if we don't try, then what is there? You do or you don't. So that one was very fleeting and that was scrapped. The second one was, do I have time? So at that point, I was working ridiculous hours. Like, I don't even know how many hours. I've never really added it up, but I was working for my partner in his IT company, and we were just smashing it out every day. We'd go into town, go to the shop. We would be there for hours. We would stay there late at night. Even when we were at home, we were working on other things to build the business and grow the business and working on the business, right? And I knew that my partner really valued my contribution, appreciated it is what I was going to say, but valued as well my contribution, and that the business had actually grown in the time that I had been there to help him to build it. So, it was an important part of the business. And I thought, do I have time to do this? And then I really thought about the things that I wanted to do that year. I wanted to um, pursue my creative desires a bit more. I wanted to step back into being an artist and actually doing some art. That was also a soul thing for me. Like it was a necessary adjustment that had to happen for Sam to be happy again. So that had to happen, and that's when I knew I needed to make the time for me, right? It was, do I have time for this? Well, yes, you do, because you will make the time because it's necessary to your survival and your sanity. So that was a big part. I also asked a lot of questions around how would I fit this in. And when I realized that I could do, use technology, leverage technology, which, that's what I was teaching at my job anyway, was empowering people with technology. So I was like, well, I'll use technology to grow my business. So I knew that I could, sneak away my lunch break, actually take a lunch break, like talk about sanity. I was actually taking lunch breaks when I finally started the business. And then I would meet for coffee with people and tell them about the business and give them products and say, here, go try them in your own home for 3 days, whatever you need to do. I would launch people's businesses on weekends or at nighttime, and actually gave me more balance in my life. It actually gave me more balance because instead of working all the time on one thing that was really like Ben's dream, I was actually able to work on something that was going to be my dream, or at least build a dream life into my art career, right? So I didn't not I couldn't afford not to have the time. I needed to make the time, and then could I afford it was the one that naturally kind of follows for a lot of people is, can I afford to do this? And it's like, you can start up for 105 Australian dollars plus GST, right? And that's incredible that you can start a business for that amount of money. It's tiny, and a multi-million dollar business if you want to make it that, right? So I understood that. I understood business, and I understood the business model and how much money I could make. And that was the most exciting thing, to be honest. The products are amazing, and they're a bonus byproduct. For me, it was like, I really need to make money so that I can have that bridge to be an artist again. So I really wasn't making that much. We weren't paying me that much money for the amount of work that I was doing. Like, I wasn't getting paid overtime. I wasn't getting paid, for the work that I did on the weekends. It was a partnership, right? Like, not in the business sense because it was Ben's business, but I am his partner, and I was his partner at that time in the business, and working with him towards our common goals was what was really important. So I wasn't really getting paid what I was worth, right? And that was a huge thing. And previously to meeting Ben and starting working with him in that business, I was working in a job where I only had to work a couple of hours in the afternoon. It was a promotions and marketing type of job. And then I was actually able to get commissions on different things that I would do, different sales that I would make, or appointments, I guess they were called, that I could make. And so I was easily making $1,500 to $2,000 a week. And so working with Ben had been a massive pay cut for like a better stable future for the two of us, and obviously for love. So I wanted to have my own independence again. I knew what it was like to have my own money and to have that feeling of like, I can buy whatever I want, whenever I want, or I can save when I want for whatever I want. And I really wanted to have that back. It's a sense of security. It was a sense of fun. It was a sense of pride for me. So I looked at this business and I was like, okay, I'm going to get my very first credit card. I never had a credit card before. I think I actually applied for the credit card a few days before I'd met with my friend. So it was weird but perfect timing. And so I actually decided to use the credit card to start my business because I had no like cash money, right? So I put about $600 or $700 down, about $1,000 all up when you add everything. $1,000 to start a business was just like, I didn't even blink. I didn't have like the buyer's remorse. I didn't look at the credit card and think, oh my God, what have I done? I really was just very calm about it. I think because I was so adamant that 2014 was going to be my year. I was 29 and I was turning 30 on the 30th of June, like 6 months later, right? So I'd told my friends pretty much my whole life, I'm going to be retired by the time I'm 30. I'm going to be retired by the time I'm 30. And it had become such a thing, but not actually happening thing, right? So I knew that I had to change something if I was ever going to be able to do it, And for me, retirement was choice and freedom. And they're two big, lofty words, but they mean a lot of things. It means I can travel and have that independence and that pride and that art career and everything, right? So I realized I couldn't afford not to do this, the same as the time obstacle or, fear. It was, you can't afford not to make a change and make a dramatic change and find a vehicle like this. Like, Sam, this has been offered to you. It's explained to you. You've got amazing support in your upline who happened to be a friend, and then her uplines who she actually put me on a call with someone who I was blown away by. I had no idea who they were, but they were in the UK. Incredible person, done amazing things over there with their Arbonne business in a space of like 7 years, I think it was at the time. And so that was very impressive. That was something that I thought, right, these are people that I can trust. These are people that I want to follow in their footsteps. And if you think about walking on the beach and you think of the soft sand and it moves away and you get sore ankles and you're like trying to get through the sand, it's easier to walk on the hard sand in the footprints of someone, where it's harder in the footprints of someone who's done it before. And I was for my whole life, like someone that was like, I'll do it my way, I can do it, I'm fine, not asking for help or anything like that. And it had really come to a point in my life where I was like, yeah, damn it, give me some help. And so this was really the perfect timing for me to hear about the Arbonne business. And I think it is for a lot of people. Like, you don't hear about Arbonne by accident. It's not like that person just randomly started talking to you about it. They've thought about you. They've thought about why you would be good at this. They thought about the type of person that they would want on their team. They thought about what they could offer you, but also what you could do with this opportunity, really. It's all about you. Like, I know for myself, when I offer this business to people, I'm quite picky. And, I'm looking for people who are already successful, who are wanting more, who aren't happy with the status quo. Maybe they want more time. Maybe they have money, but they don't have time to enjoy that money. Or maybe they are just like me, right? And they just need to change something like yesterday. And so I really think that you don't hear about Arbonne by accident. It's meant to be. And even if the timing doesn't feel right, I think research it as much as you can and ask as many questions from someone that you trust, or someone that you relate to, right? And you will find the reasons, especially when we share stories, right? I think sharing stories like this is so important, because that's when you start to paint a picture of exactly how it could fit in your life. And it was like incremental, consistent, instead of constant, it was just consistent actions that got me to grow my Arbonne business to the point that it is today and enjoy the life that I do today. So I'm really glad that I overcame these fears. But the biggest one for me was, what will people think? And that it was huge, but it was also one of those ones that was easily overcome. I think the biggest one for me was, can I afford this? And then when I realized everyone has a credit card and you can pay that off, and that's what they're there for, Sam. Like, you're not going to die because you have a credit card. What's the worst that's going to happen? You don't do the work, you end up with amazing products that you're going to use anyway. Money well spent, right? But I knew that I wanted to turn that $1,000 into, like, let's add 1,000 zeros. So and putting that amount of money down, by the way, really held me accountable. And I didn't tell Ben about it, by the way. He caught me online. Like, I was typing away and researching, and I was setting up my profile and setting up a Facebook page, and I was really excited. And he's like, what are you doing? And then he's like, do you have time for this? And I'm like, I'm making time. Yeah, it was a bit dramatic, but he's fully supportive now, of course. But I think that you have to have that belief in yourself and that drive and that very clear vision of, I want things to be better. And so I didn't really know how better I wanted them to be. I knew I wanted time and I wanted money and I wanted to travel. But the specifics came more as the rewards came. So as the rewards started coming in and I started getting paid and I started, attracting the right people, and people were buying from me, and they would contact me and ask me, oh my God, you have a vegan product. Tell me more about it. I don't know where to get vegan mascara from. And you have it. One of the biggest things was, Sam, why are you so happy all of a sudden? Like, because my personality did change a lot, from being like a boss bitch type of very serious work kind of person, which was definitely not me. That was a reaction to my environment. I actually ended up becoming more relaxed and happy and free, Sam. So people naturally noticed that, and that was attractive. But the what would people think thing had been stalking me my whole life and really holding me back. And I think that it's not just a small town thing. Like, I come from a small town. I think that it is, you've got to look at who you're surrounding yourself with, and because you are the result of the top 5 people that you hang around, right? So if you're hanging around negative naysayers, people that aren't going anywhere with their life, people that are complainers but not doers, they're willing to whinge about everything. And cool, sometimes it's like, get it off your chest and have a whinge about it. But if someone's whinging consistently, there will come a time that they've got to do something about it. If you're hanging around people who they just ignore that time over and over again and it's frustrating, then they're going to be the people who will judge you. They're going to be the people who are probably not going to be super supportive of you. And what I really realized was, the people who I'm worried about, do I even care about what they think at the end of the day? Do I really care? Like if I lived somewhere else, if my name was something else, if they didn't know, where I grew up and knew my parents and all that kind of stuff, would I really care? And do those people and their opinions pay my bills? And that was why it was easy to overcome, because the thread in my mind kind of went like that, and I was like, done. Get that credit card out, girl, go for it. And so they were my main fears, but it was a space of a couple of days. So it was a Friday afternoon, and then by the Sunday morning, the Sunday night, I was signed up and I had started my own Arbonne business. So it was very quick. It was like I saw it, I researched it, I had a really excited, like nervous feeling in my tummy, and that's when I start to think, okay, just check the boxes, cross your I's, dot your T's, ask lots of questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I was always afraid to ask questions at school, and it held me back a lot. So for me, owning this and knowing that I could do it was really about, Sam, just ask the questions. What have you got to lose? And I got the answers that I wanted, because I did want to do it. I did want to be happier. And I did want a free Mercedes, like earn my own Mercedes. And I did want to earn, 5-star holidays. And I did want to meet new people, and I did want to look hot. You know what I mean? So this business has given me all of that because I said yes and I overcame my fears. So whatever your fears are, I urge you to, send me a message and we can talk about them, or talk to the person who has shown you the Arbonne business model and really get your fears answered, because I probably can guarantee you that they've felt those before, or they know someone who has felt them before, and there's a story and there's a solution and there's a strategy around overcoming them. Don't let something like as silly as what will people think hold you back from what can be an incredible life for you and your family and your neighbor and your community, and then the world, right? We really can change the world by being happier in ourselves and then sharing that wherever we go. So face your fears and do it anyway. And I just say, come on board. This is the best place to be. So I'll see you in your own Arbonne business very soon.